Hello friends, welcome to my channel and you're watching Network Guru. Today we are going to learn about coding. The coding, very interesting subject and a topic for beginners. Today we need to know the agenda of coding. What is coding? Why to learn coding? Which languages should you start with? How to choose a project? The learning path? What kind of jobs can you expect? So let me brief about coding. What is coding? Coding or programming is the process of creating instructions for computers using programming languages. Coding is used to program the websites, apps and other technologies we interact with every day. So computer coding is the use of computer programming languages to give computers and machines instructions on what actions to perform. It is the way humans communicate with machines, and it allows us to create software like programs, operating systems and mobile apps. What is coding used for? Simply put, coding is used for communicating with computers. People use coding to give computers and other machines instructions on what actions to perform. Further, we use coding to perform the program, the websites, apps, and other technologies we interact with every day that covers what they are used for. What do you mean by coding? Coding is a skill where you take instructions, the steps in a task, and translate it into a language the computer understands. Since computers do not communicate like humans, they communicate in a language called binary, and it uses zeros and ones. Coders write the instructions using a programming language. What is the difference between coding and programming? Programming is the general process of creating a program that follows certain standards and performs a certain task. Coding, on the other hand, is a part of programming that deals strictly with converting the language we understand into binary commands for the machine. How to start coding? Here are few essentials on how to start coding on your own. Come up with a simple project. Get the software you will need. Join communities about how to start coding. Read a few books. How to start coding with YouTube. Listen to a podcast. Run through a tutorial. Try some games on how to start coding. Which languages should you start with? There are few programming languages. You can also use programming languages to create web pages and applications. Some of the top programming languages includes C, Python, JavaScript, Ruby, C++, C#, Scala, Perl and PHP. What skill do you need for coding? Here are 6 important skills used in computer coding. One is language acquisition, innovative thinking, analytical skills, attention to detail, patience and communication. How to choose a coding project? Here are few ways to come up with side project ideas, which is reflect on your day-to-day. Often the best ideas come from one's own experiences. ask your friends, explore emerging platforms, browse, product hunt, turn a feature into a standalone product, read the internet. So figure out what you want to do. You can start creating basic apps like game, web app and mobile app. So figure out what language and tools you need for it. Languages which is used, that is HTML, Python, JavaScript, PHP and Java are some of the easiest high-level languages for beginning coders to learn. What are some of the hardest coding languages to learn? One is assembly, C, C++, C Sharp and Objective-C are some of the tougher programming languages to learn. So for this we require tools which helps in coding, that is integrated development environment. In this we have text editors, GitHub, Heroku, Twitter Bootstrap, Stack Overflow, Markdown, HTML and CSS validation. So there are basic language to learn. Whichever languages you use, whether it may be C, Python, JavaScript, Ruby, C++, C Sharp, Scala, Perl, PHP, you need to understand the basic information about this language. And how to choose a project? In this, you have two versions. One is domain and language. You want to choose a domain first. What you want to create it? One is web development. For this, if you are a web developer, you have to use JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Node.js, PHP and Django. If you want to create an Android, you need to use a language called Java, Kotlin. If you are using iOS, you need to use the language Swift. If you want to develop a data software, you need to use the language Python or MATLAB. So if you are creating a game development, so you need to use C++ and C Sharp. So here, as I discussed about the fundamentals of any language. So if you want any language to be used, there are basic fundamentals of every language, which is loops, if statement, variables, functions and arrays. So initially, if you are a beginner, start creating a basic application. Don't go for a complicated. Choose a simple project. So which languages should you use? According to me, what I recommend is Python and Java is most recommended. Python, Kotlin, C++, C Sharp, PHP, Ruby, JavaScript are so you can use if required. Python is one of the most easiest language to learn. So another software where we are using to use this programming, that is IDE, that is an integrated development environment. It's a software application that provides comprehensive facilities to computer programmers for software development. An integrated development environment normally consists of at least a source code editor, built automation tools and a debugger. To recap, IDE or Integrated Development Environment is a software application that combines all of the features and tools needed by a software developer. Examples of IDEs include NetBeans, Eclipse, IntelliJ, and Visual Studio.